Hey guys, thanks for tuning into this video. My name is Joe Pacheco and I just got back from shooting a local band here in Montreal called Mangy Pride. These are some of my friends. They play some really cool blues, swamp blues rock. I just put aside here a couple of shots I thought were interesting. It was a pretty crowded place, so I didn't have too much freedom to walk around and shoot. If you've previously shot any type of live events at smaller venues where you don't really know the lighting situation is going to be like, if you have enough light or actually good quality of light, which in most cases it isn't really that great. This club didn't have too much, and from prior experience I gave up trying to keep my ISO under 1,000. When I got there, I pretty much put it on 3200 and brought it down as I was shooting throughout the set. So these were shot on my Nikon D750 with a 35mm 1.8 DX crop sensor lens on a full frame. Yes, I know, but you got to use what you have. So put aside a couple shots here I thought were either clear or interesting. I'm thinking I will start with this one. It's kind of a cool pose. I like the downward looking up poses. Gives him a bit of a taller perspective. So basically this is pretty much the raw shot. You can see this is towards the end of the set, and like I said earlier, on this shot, which was at the beginning of the set, I was at ISO 3200, and here I brought it down to 2000. Given the Nikon's D750's dynamic range, I know that I could underexpose a bit and bring it up in post. So basically, first thing I like to do is adjust the white balance. I like to preview it here on the screen as I go. I know we're supposed to pick a white or a neutral gray, but you know what? I don't like to follow the rules too much, and I like to see on the little preview here what might give an interesting effect to the picture. I like this one. Looks pretty nice. Got some nice soft blue light falling over the guitar. Not sure about the crop having Adam the drummer here. It's actually pretty cool, but I always like to just try a few things out first. So let's say maybe bring it here. That looks pretty cool. I don't know if that's gonna get in the way. This is kind of cool. Sorry, Adam, but we'll go with this for now. I have a bit of OCD with keeping things sort of straight and rotating, but this seems pretty good. Okay, so as I've seen on many other tutorials, like to hold Alt on a Windows machine and get the black levels, or not too much because it was a pretty dark venue. Bring the whites up a bit. Exposure seems fine for me right now. Maybe I'll come in later and touch up the face. I like a little clarity. When I first started using Lightroom, I was a clarity junkie and boosting it all the way, which can give that kind of HDR-ish grungy effect, but I find less is more sometimes, and I may come back in and add it later on. Alright, the vibrance seems cool. Pretty much come through here. And I tend to, since I'm at ISO 2000, it's not that bad actually. The noise is decent. I'm sure if we zoom in, yeah, you can see some of that stuff, but it's actually really good considering how dark it was. Detail is there. I'll just apply a bit. Like, I'll try to keep it under 20 because it seems pretty clean. And sharpening, well, by default there's at 25. I plan to go into On1 Effects or another post-processing software, so I usually like to turn off all sharpening, lens corrections, chromatic aberrations. This is these spots look like they're from the venue, but I'll definitely zoom in and just sort of get rid of them quickly. See how it works out over here. There you go. I'll just quickly go through the picture and see if there's any that I can remove. Yeah, it seems to be quite a bit. I know the background had some white on it over there, so but I find here it could look a little confusing. Looks like there's a dirt or spot on the spots on the lens or the sensor. It's like here. I'll zoom in and just get rid of it. It feels a bit distracting. I think that's pretty cool right now. Maybe this little guy here seems to be drawing my attention. Just scroll it. Try to copy a nice spot there. There we go. I did a really good job. That looks pretty cool. Looks pretty clean to me. So at this stage, pretty much done with that. Check the highlights. No, the highlights were fine. This is pretty much where I'm at in Lightroom. And then I'll take it over to On1 Effects. So here we go. Now we're in On1 Effects. You have your filters over here on the upper left and the presets. These are some of my own presets I've made. There we go. So basically, the layers that I had here in the effects, I had a tone enhancer, some dynamic contrast, some sunshine, bleach bypass, and glow. See the glow having a radial adjustment. I'll bring it back up because I'd like to keep the guitar in focus as much as possible. So I could like to check it out before and after. So it kind of gives you that vignette effect. And I'll check the dynamic contrast before and after because sometimes that could be a little heavy-handed. In this case, it actually just brings a lot of the sharpness around the edges, but might be just too much around here around the face. So I'll just go check that out. So here we go. We can always back off the opacity here. Or if we like what it does, I like what it does to the mic around here. If I turn it off, you'll see how it just really makes the mic pop and some highlights, but maybe there's just too much around the face. So apply a masking brush. Just feather with a little feather, 50, and just bring it off the face like that. There you go. That looks already pretty cool. So we can always just see before and after. And apply a sunshine filter. How much sunshine do I want? There you go. I like to pour it on thick and then back it off to just see how far I can get away with something. And then just back it off slowly until my eyes tell me that that should be enough. I just like to go in here and check each one, see how it affects the image, if it adds to it or takes away from it. See, like this bleach bypass, if I look at the light here, the way it's coming in with it off, that's naturally. When I pop it in, it tames it down a bit. It's not too bad, but I just want to see if it's adding or taking away. I think it adds a bit of darkness around here, the highs, kind of like gives it a bit more of a mood. And then the glow filter, which is pretty much a nice vignette. I could just maybe back it off a bit. And there you go. It's a pretty simple edit, not too heavy-handed, but brings out enough details to really like bring your attention to the subject, which is always the goal. And then I'll just apply that. I like to work in PSD format when I bounce, let's say from Lightroom to On1 10, because you can always go back and just fix up a couple of things, which is super nice. So this was the before, well, adjustments and the cropped here in Lightroom, and then this is what came from On1. So you have the before On1 Effects, which if you look at the guitar, it seems a little dull now in comparison. This kind of really put some dynamic and some contrast in the shot. From here, depending on the picture, I'll add whatever I feel it needs, like a graduated filter or something. This phase may be dark, but I like that. I like that it's pretty much cast in shadow over here. So I don't think exposure wise I won't be doing anything. Maybe I'll add a bit of clarity, but see, like I said, I like to pour it on thick and then back off. And maybe even still just reduce a little more noise, which is not bad considering it's ISO 2000. D750 really has great dynamic range. Lets you push the picture. I didn't have to push too much with this one, but you can get away with it a bit. So it's pretty forgiving. And then basically, the last thing I'll do is I'll apply some sharpening to really bring out. I find that makes it really, maybe I don't know what the standard or what people do. I seem to stick around. I'll stick between the 89s, 90s. Sometimes I'll go a bit higher. It depends really on the picture and probably the mood I'm in that day. This seems pretty cool. But then again, let's say like here 90. Let's pop in 90. And that's pretty much it. Like that. So basically we have Lightroom adjustments, basic adjustments to a bit of clarity, some noise reduction, the adjustments to the black and the whites, and then after with On1 10 effect and sharpening back in Lightroom. So I hope you guys enjoyed this post-processing retouch session. Leave any comments or questions. Let me know if I did anything wrong, anything I could do quicker or better, or your opinions. If you haven't, please subscribe and stay tuned for the next one.